Espérame. Tengo mango. But he was a Bobby in San Diego, so it's no harm, no foul. I'll let him introduce himself. Pinche Joshua. Say hello to the listeners.
It's at San Diego. Come on now.
Paris Island. My bad.
Paris Island. Come on.
No,
Yeah, I mean, you want me to say my first name or just my rank? And
just say hello. Say hello for now.
Hey, Joshua, what's going
on? Don't be nervous, all right, Josh? It's just a normal conversation.
Oh yeah, for sure.
I know there's not a 5x8 or a training day for this, but you'll be all right. You'll be all right.
There's no scoop, no scoop schedule for this.
You didn't get an SDI. What is that at the evening after evening BDR? I don't know when you guys do in PI, but
yeah, it's called a scoop. We call it a scoop. Hey, well, we gather and we talk about the training schedule for the next day.
Well, we got Joshua Garciasoto, right? Borinquen, is that what it is?
Sí, Borinquen. From Puerto Rico.
Okay. Well, ladies and gentlemen, we got Joshua hailing from Hawaii. Buddy of mine I met in Hawaii after he came from the Depot successful tour. Congratulations on that. Highly competitive for promotion. Are you gunner starting yet or what?
No, not yet. I would be. I'm in the below zone, so next year I'll be in the zone. So
we'll see. I'll be praying for you. Gunny is a good rank, the best rank outside of sergeant.
I agree with that. I seen it.
Well, let's get into it. I'll tell you what. The reason I had you on. Well, let's go ahead and talk about your professional, your little background, how long you've been in, where you came out of, duty stations, billets, deployments, MUs, anything that you can, the listeners can find relatability with in your MOS, family, things like that. Go ahead.
Okay, for sure. So I got in 2014. So I'm a boot, stab and seal. Been in 10 years. I was on 2nd Regiment, 2nd Marine Division in Camp Lejeune. And I did, my first enlistment there. Then I got orders. I volunteered to be a drone instructor at Paris Island. And then, from there, from Paris Island, did my tour, did 7 cycles and a quota, obviously. And then from there, I PCS to here to Hawaii. So the Marine Corps has been good to me. I'm grateful that I'm still serving and I'm still in, and I have, I had influence on my Marines, on everybody, because you always have an influence on your higher ups and your subordinates as well.
I like it. Well, thank you for doing the Lord's work up in PI, because it's not as fun as San Diego, I'll tell you that. But that's a different conversation for a different day. Look, obviously, there's a little bit of competition, you already know. But since I'm a gunner sergeant, you're a staff sergeant, I'm going to win anyways.
Rock, paper, scissors, Frank.
Let me ask you a question. I know you started off with some small business. Let's go real quick on your small business that you got going on in Hawaii. I think you got a couple. You got a little Instagram page and you have a little business. I forget. I can't think of the name right now. What is it?
Original Fit Design. So obviously, when I got off the depot, you know how high tempo it is. You're always busy. And when I got here to Hawaii, the tempo of the unit is so slow. Like in comparison to when you're in the trenches, 24 hours every day, and you go from a high chaotic environment to now you're just chilling, pretty much, because you're on a schedule and everybody wants to go home. So I needed something to an outlet per se. I started doing jiu-jitsu. I liked it, and I started doing CrossFit as well. Going back to CrossFit because I'm always and try to stay in shape. And then I needed something else to occupy my mind. So I started doing this business thing where I design shirts and I design cups, and I can do anything on, well, not engraving, but pretty much on any clothing item or cups, right? And then, so the business is going well. It's just sometimes it's slow, right? Because I don't try to advertise it as much. At one time, it was getting overwhelming. I had like 20 orders in 1 week, and people were not paying me up front. So I learned my lesson. So obviously, with the business, you learn a lot, the ins and outs. You always fail, and then you always succeed. Thankfully, it's not what I'm living off, so I'm not, poor, right?
That's fair.
But I still have, I still manage with the time. I get like 1 or 2 orders a week because, obviously, I have a full-time job, And then the other thing I started doing was content. So, obviously I tried to create content on TikTok. I started on TikTok. And the reason for that was, I was promoting my shirt, because I was going to open up a TikTok shop and I heard it was really good. But, it's highly competitive. You need to have other things. And I started, deviating from that, and I just created content for military personnel. Now, I was just creating content just for fun and giggles. And I understood after, not long ago, that I have an influence on the active service members as much as you or your veterans and retirees. Because, if you really think about it, you're not going to do this for long. You're going to do this for, you one enlistment, or you can do it for 20 years, 2 enlistments. And then your base personality is just based on, your uniform, right? What you wear. You're a military, you're a Marine, you're a soldier, you're an airman, you're a sailor. That's who you are. You don't have any other personality other than what your current job is. And if you do this long enough, you get stuck in your ways. So thinking about how to help the veteran community and how to help the active duty service members by, giving them a laugh or making their day. And I have helped. I'm not saying, I'm out there and I'm well recognized, but I'm helping a lot of military service members and veterans. They always love my stuff. And recently I had a video that went viral in the military community. It was, this debate between the mass sergeant and the first sergeant, because, they always catch them arguing with each other. For some reason, some first sergeants and some mass sergeants, not all of them, but they don't like each other. And it's the truth,
It's more prevalent in Hawaii for sure. Continue.
But yeah, it went viral, and I do boot camp skits as well. People love those, and then more debates between E9s and E8s. I think that's what gains more traction. Obviously, I know I'm still in the service, so I'm still within my left and right lateral limits at all times. I don't go off because it's
Cuidado.
very hard to. It's very hard because people are always watching.
Very true, because they take a lot of stuff, even though it's gaslighting at its finest. It's basically to get a reaction or a joke. It's to put a joke out there because we've all experienced it, but we're the ones that put ourselves out there and let everybody know. I'll be the one to have courage and say it and show it, because everybody else is thinking it, but they won't say it.
Yeah.
You're just the one that puts your face on it, which I find courageous, if you ask me. It takes a lot of courage to put yourself out there, put your face out there. And even just doing this, I hate watching myself. I hate doing edits. I hate listening to the podcast. I hate doing all these things because I find it weird. But just like you, man, you got to put yourself out there, take a 30-inch step. If you offend somebody, well, those are just feelings. That's not really, you're not going after people. So it's just a rank.
The biggest thing is getting the reaction. You always want the shock factor, right? So I think one video that I made, it was like the E9s, fighting for a parking spot. They're fighting for a parking spot, and a lot of people got offended. They were like, "Oh, that's not accurate." I was like, "Okay, whatever." Like, it is accurate. You know how
Listen,
some people fight over parking spots.
I'm going to cut you off right there before I lose my train of thought. It's facts, dog. Me and you, we're in the same. Well, if the listeners didn't know, right? He went from Parris Island to Marine Corps Base Hawaii, but he was stationed. He's attached to Combat Logistics Company 33. The best. I think it's the best group of Marines probably in the entire Marine Corps that I served with. COC 33. I got the most. They gave me the most gifts. Not like I need a gift or anything like that, but they see me, they acknowledge me, they appreciate what I do, and they love that I support them. And I think they see the same thing in you. But those are when I was there from 2018, I think, or 2019 to 20 what was it? 2021 to 23 with CLC 33, man, the best group of dudes loyal group of dudes, and it's all encompassing. Dudes is like a term of endearment. So if you're listening, you're a girl, don't get offended. It's just people. The parking spot, I got to weave back in. The parking spot was legitimate. I
Yeah.
remember, without saying any names and without saying anybody, but you hit the rank right nail on the head. They were fighting for a parking spot, and somebody called the cops, and I go, what the? All for somebody? Oh my God. I remember people would block each other in just for the stupid yellow lines. I'm like, just walk 50 feet. Who cares? Then the
And
Marine
it still
Corps is
happens.
this.
It still happens to this day. People are like, a lot of people retire master guns and retire sergeant majors like, oh, it's just jokes, it's funny. But there were a lot of retired sergeants major that were like, stop doing this. This is not funny because they're stuck in their ways. And I mean, it is what it is.
Hey, if the shoe fits. I remember
Exactly.
a wise man once told me, if the shoe fits, walk a mile. I think
Exactly.
you know. I think you know what I'm talking about. But your content, the design, your small businesses, right? Because creating content is kind of like a small business. The more following you get, the more impressions you get. You start making a little bit of money here and there, and it starts being fruitful. Let me ask you something. You obviously got some pushback with your small business, your little endeavors. Why do you continue to do it? Why do you continue to be resilient even though people are pushing back?
For my business, because by the grace of God, people keep asking for it. So I tend to get myself in this dark spot where like, I'm not doing well 1 week and I'm like, oh, you know what? This is going to be the last straw that's it. I'm done. And then out of nowhere, people, continue to ask me for it because it's time consuming, obviously. So people ask me for it and I'm like, okay, well, you know what? Because this person asked, I'm going to continue doing it. So, and then for the content, same thing. There was a few months ago, I was like, you know what, I'm gonna stop doing this. And some people were like, no, like a lot of people were like, don't do it. We need you. And I don't do it for the money. Like obviously it's a small business. I had a aspiration to make a little bit of money, but you really don't, once you find a passion for things, you don't do it for money. And the same thing with the content. Like I don't get paid for that. You get pennies from I get pennies from the share business. Now, one day, if I retire, I'm going to continue doing it and hopefully make the shop. That's where the real money happens. But it's just because the military community is super strong when it comes to supporting each other. Like a lot of people have my back. I know so far when I created this thing, I started recognizing people and people started recognizing me back. So I know a lot of military content creators, and I know a lot of people that have small business. Even so, my content was so impactful that they send me like merch, right? So this shirt right here, yeah, this shirt right here comes from Devil Dogs Jeans. So they have a small business too, and they have a huge shop online, and their stuff is it's nice. And then there was another small business about coins. They want to make a coin for me. There was other people drawing. They did a sketch of me. So I get, a lot of people supporting me. And that's why I still do it to this day.
That's good, man. Because you find, you said it earlier, you find passion in what you do, and you realize it's not about the money. Obviously, there's at the beginning, maybe not so much, but the more time you put into it, the more passionate you are about it. I think the fruits of your labor will come out, and you'll start making pennies here, pennies there, nickels here, dimes there. It just starts adding up, right? Because I remember starting this little hobby of mine, and it started off well, but the platform moved the flagpole pretty far that way. It was it was within reaching, it was within touching distance for me, and I was making here a couple dollars here and there every week, and then they moved the flagpole, and then I'm like, okay, I could probably get there. And then they moved the
Mm-hmm.
flagpole even further, and then there was like a fourth drop, and the platform was, it looked like it was in the sky. I'll never reach outer space. So now it's kind of like a hobby. I get to talk to a lot of people from all the services, veterans and active duty service members alike. I get to network. I get to meet a lot of people. I mean, I got you on the podcast, so it's hard to get people to come in. It's hard even for you. You just said it's hard for people even to purchase your merch. But that one person that you go out and reach out and touch somebody, it just keeps you going and keeps you going. So that's all.
Yeah, for
That's all
sure.
it is, man. Passion, 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 and hopefully, the fruits of our labor will we reap the fruits of our labor. Excuse me. I gotta ask though. There's obviously a catch to the podcast. There's a catch to everything that we do. I gotta weave you back in. You said you were out in Camp Pendleton first.
Camp Lejeune.
Camp Lejeune, I'm sorry. And then you went out to
Camp
the
Lejeune.
depot. Camp Lejeune,
Yep.
excuse me, for the sergeants, majors, Camp Lejeune. Then you went out to PI, right?
Then I went to Paris Island.
And then you're out in CLC 33 with Marine Corps Base Hawaii.
Yes.
Okay. Do you have orders to go anywhere else yet?
No, but I do want to go back to the East Coast.
You want to go back to PI? You're crazy.
Maybe not PI, maybe somewhere, in Pensacola, if I get afforded the opportunity to go there. But me and my wife, or my wife and I, are trying to purchase a house down where, Pensacola is, maybe Tampa or somewhere close to Florida. Because that's
Is that
like
where
yeah, that's where home is.
Is that where both of you guys live from?
Oh yeah,
Hail from? Yeah. Do you have any kids?
I do. I do have kids.
I know you just had one recently. That's why I asked.
I have, obviously my newborn, or she's not a newborn anymore. She's 6 months old. She started feeding. I have my stepdaughter, who's 8, and I have 3 more with my ex. Obviously, this stereotype comes in. Hey, military man, you have a bunch of kids. Okay, you know what? I like to have a good time. You know what I'm saying?
I see
That's
that.
what it is. I like to have a good time. That's what it is.
Okay. Hey, one baby mama to another. Hey, but this one you're staying with. It's all good.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Let me ask you. I just actually, funny thing you say that funny story. I just got done talking to Seamus O'Connor. He's out of is he in Germany? I think he's in Germany. And he was saying the same thing. He was on his 3rd marriage and he's with his girlfriend now. And he's not getting married. It's only in case of emergency that he's going to do that. So
yeah, I mean,
I get you. The stereotype is real.
it comes down to, it's PI, it's Paris Island. Like, it comes down to your family supporting you, because let me be honest, some dependents just suck. They just straight up, like, they don't want to support you. And even though this is the job that brings the beans, right? Some dependents don't like cooking, don't like cleaning, or they just don't. I mean, you'll be surprised. And you have Marines, if you have Marines under you, they'll tell you the story. Like, they just get married and they don't really know anything about the person, and then ends up biting them in the ass. And there's some dependents just take advantage. They want the benefits and all that. And we know all of this, but we learn from trials and errors.
Is it that was the first one with three kids or what? That's a breakup. Those 3 kids are a blessing. What are you talking about?
Oh yeah, they're blessing. I'm just saying, that
Everything happens for a reason.
how is it that somebody once said, I think it was Statham Finch. He said, young, dumb, and full of cum. Hey, young, dumb, and full of.
Oh, that was you or what? Wow.
I mean, it still got a little bit in me. So
Yeah, I see that. Hey, well, look, you're with the one that's with you, stuck with you so far. Congratulations
yeah,
on the new baby. Let's bring it back full circle. Congratulations on the new baby. Obviously, she's 6 months.
thanks,
What's the name?
Valkyrie. So, do you ever watch the Marvel movie? The
Valkyrie?
yeah, like the
Like the horse, the ladies and the horse.
Yeah, the ladies and
Yeah,
the
yeah,
horse.
yeah.
The Viking mythology, the Viking mythology, the men are called Vikings. The women are called Valkyries.
Interesting. And what does she have?
Rose.
Valkyrie Rose. Pinche vato. Okay, that's different. And
Oh
you're
yeah, for
Boricua,
sure.
so you know your Borican family. Like, what the frick?
Yeah,
You know it. Pinche Hispanos,
yeah.
all of them, all alike.
I
What did they
just
say
wanted
when you
to
named her?
go. They said it was cute, and
Oh, okay.
some people from my wife's family were like, "What?" They couldn't pronounce her name, so they just said the middle name Rose.
Rose is good though.
It's just different, you know. You don't want to call them the same thing because all Hispanic, like Maria, Mariana, it's like the same thing over Juana. I don't know. You
Josefina,
want to
that's a good one.
get Josefina? It's the same thing over and over. Like, come on now, we gotta think of something else.
So you got to CLC 33. That's where I met you. Coming in hot from PI. I had to
Yeah,
calm you down a little bit because you were still on fire. You know, you didn't transition properly from the depot.
yeah.
Are you still got that same energy or what?
Well, let me tell you. I think obviously there's a time and place. I don't have the same energy right now. Like I
Uh,
would tell you honestly, and this is why I know this. Like I truly care about who I am and what I represent, obviously. But when I first came to the unit, I was always asking the Marines, like, hey, you know, did we get this done? Did we get this done? Did we get this done? Always work related questions. And then, you know, one of the mass sergeants pulled me aside and said, hey, you know, you haven't transitioned well. Like, you know, the Marines, they find you unapproachable. And I said, how come? And he said, well, you always asking them about work. And I asked him, like, what else am I supposed to talk about? He said, well, ask them about personal questions. Like, what is their favorite music? What is their favorite song? What do they like to listen to? What are their hobbies? And I started opening my eyes a little bit, you know, breaking that shell. Like, okay, now I gotta stop thinking like a robot. So obviously I started dialing down and okay, these are people that want to be here, but I'm making their life a little bit harder by just doing this. Let's cultivate an environment where they want to come to work. So obviously I changed a little bit, but I would tell you like I'm still a little bit on, okay, you still got to get a haircut, the standard, right? You still got to get a haircut every week. You still got to shave your face. You're not going to show up with just whatever, you know,
yeah.
because
Don't ju-
we're
hey,
still, we're still, you know, we're still in.
they want to conserve energy. You already know how it goes. Anyways, continue. They're still in. You got to hold them accountable. Don't judge me, okay? I don't have a haircut.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. You're on duty, so. I just wanted to, you know, for the legacy to keep going. You know, I don't
Hey,
want people to take my rank with that mentality of like, yeah, we just come in and clock out. I want people to actually have a pride for this, even though like my content, some of it is like the last video that I did was, and they talk about two mass art and a first art. We're talking about the good old days. We're talking about like some pacing things, and they were talking to this private that was cleaning that, hey, you know, this happened, but you know, you're not allowed to do it. So I think like, you know, some things that I put out there a little bit on the gray line, but I still have pride for who I am.
hmm, interesting.
Current in the current status that I'm in, right? I'm a status CEO, so I
That's
have to
true.
be leading by example.
Absolutely. What is it? You inspire the higher standards by example. You will inspire the highest standards possible, right? And
Yeah.
that looks different for different people, right? Obviously, I always joke that you didn't transition well from the depot, but it's okay. It's who you are. Sometimes it takes a little longer than for others, and sometimes people don't transition, and they take it all 20 years, and I'm like, oh boy, oh
And
boy.
then they become nines, you know, and then they
You
call the
know,
cops for not for parking on their park.
oh, hey, that's just the story I had to tell. I didn't know that was true or not. Calm down.
Oh no,
But
yeah,
yeah, I mean, you don't people don't transition from the depot. That's the highlight of the career, and they kind of just roll over to every duty station. I know a couple gunnies like that too. Very brand new gunnies under 10 years. I'm like, that's that's fast. Like, good on you for getting promoted quick. You're right. More money for your family, for you. You did something right. You looked good in uniform. You did things good. You performed well. You executed. But the mentality, right?
yeah,
Just like that mass sergeant told you, and I'm pretty sure I know that mass sergeant is. Shout out to Sheldon, freaking out in Colorado, hooking and jabbing, right?
oh yeah.
He's
Shout
right.
out.
He's right. He's definitely right, man. Good thing that he had that conversation with you because if Marines are not approachable or you're not approachable, how are Marines supposed to trust that you can make the right decisions and lead them correctly when you're not approachable, when you haven't transitioned yet? And that's okay, right?
Yes.
It takes some time for people, maturity levels. I'm not saying you're immature, but it just takes longer for some people. And that's okay. But you acknowledged you were accountable to that. And now you're still, ride or die type of Marine. Now you're more approachable than you were when you first got boots on ground in CLC 33, right?
Yeah, I would say people would define me as, or people back then would define, some people, not all of them, some Marines would define me as a toxic leader because I held them accountable. Let me just tell you that's not true. I want what's best for them. If you want to get out, I'll help you through your transition, and we'll find a goal for you to before you get out. It's like, if you want to start school, go ahead and get your credits in. If you want to stay in, I help you with that too. I just don't want people to just sit on their desk or collect a paycheck. That's the
Yeah.
biggest thing for me. But people started understanding, Marines started understanding that later on as I work with them more. It's just, we want success. We want a good contributor to society, right? We don't want somebody that's just gonna live, just to collect a paycheck, per se.
I'll tell you what, without being very specific, I know exactly what you're talking about right now. I'll tell you what, they're going to be better for it because you hold them accountable. Accountability is important. Your accountability looks different than my accountability. I'm obviously a different person than pinche Josefina right here on the screen, Jose, right? From
Yeah.
I tell you what, I'm a different person, but that's okay because our accountability is the same. The definition is the same. The meaning is the same. The execution is different, right? But the intent is the same. Don't get it twisted, young Marines, service members. Accountability means the same thing across the board. It just looks different for different people. So just like you hold the line, right, to accountability, vice versa, right? I expect the Marines to tell me exactly what I did, when I did it, why I did it, because of whatever said reason. Because it's reciprocal, man. If they're expecting me to lead them and they're expecting me to make the right decisions, I'm trusting them not only to obey, right, and be loyal, but accountability is reciprocal. I don't know what I'm doing because I can't see myself, but I need that same iron sharpens iron mentality from the boys, from the troops in the deck plates to tell me this is what's going on, Gunny. You know what I'm saying? So that's where you're at
That's
now, and that's where you're at right now. So I appreciate that. I appreciate you taking that criticism from Sheldon, because he's a good dude, smart man. He was on the podcast a couple months ago after he got
nice.
out. Good stuff. You should definitely listen to it. I got to bring it back full circle, right? Because I have Marines, sailors, soldiers, airmen, Coast Guard. Come on. And I ask them, I got to weave it back, right? We got to give back to the service. We got to give back to mental health. You're a different breed. We're a different breed. We're resilient in different ways. We had to go through the suck. I mean, you know the suck. I know the suck, right? It's different than recruiting. Hats off to the recruiters. It's a different beast. I wouldn't want to do it either. But we're resilient because of what we've been through. What helped you while you were in the depot? What made you so resilient? Because it wouldn't have been successful otherwise.
Oh yeah, it was a tough tour for sure. I would tell you, I was going through a lot. And obviously, you do your cycles. Like I did 3 cycles before I went on quota, and I went on quota, and I came back to my first VI cycle. I think that was the toughest because I had a poor team, right? They weren't the strongest for sure. Obviously, they're out now, so I can talk about it. The third hat was kind of a lover, and the senior at the time, he was kind of like, oh, this is my last cycle, so I'm dropping the pack. So everything it felt like it fell on me, right? And then my fourth hat, he quit. He just tapped out. That's it. On his third day, third forming day, he's like, yeah, I'm done with this. So everything fell on me, and obviously I took it personal because the performance of the team and the recruits were not, up to standard. But enough of that. I went to a really dark place where I'm not gonna joke. I'm just gonna keep it real with you. I was crying every night. Every night I got off duty, I cried. I was like, I do not want this team anymore. Switch me. And I was just telling that to myself, and I was talking to the chief. I don't want to be in this team anymore. And, I was going through, like, I was almost done, like, I'm not going to say things, to get in trouble, but I was in a really dark hole at that time. And then obviously my wife right now, she was the one that was there for me and saying, like, you're going to be okay. I cried on her shoulder and said, like, this sucks. I don't want to be here anymore. She's like, you're going to be okay. Just push through one more day. Push through one more day. And then, by the third phase, I had to figure it out already because she was my support system. So obviously, kept pushing. I figured it out. And then that second cycle after that, I learned from my mistakes and I dominated. So I think that's how I did. I overcame that adversity and became resilient because there was another person in the picture supporting me and believing in
One,
me, even though I didn't believe in myself.
that's good. That's good. I'll tell you what, if you're listening, tuning in, I got Joshua, Garciasoto. Garcia is usually a Mexican last name, but the Boricua has it today.
Yeah.
Because he's a guest. But talking about adversity, resilience, you're in a dark space, mental space, and you had no idea how to get out, but you had one person in your corner. It sounds like boxing to me. It sounds like you had one person in your corner is either going to throw in the towel for you, and then that's going to break you, or, right, she motivates you, he or she motivates you, or your spouse motivates you to keep going one day at a time, one round at a time, right? Because life is an uphill battle. Life is uphill. And you got to attack the hill every single day. And that's what you did. I mean, for those struggling with mental health adversity right now, which we're going to hit mental health right now, adversity, you got to have somebody in your corner. Yes.
Yeah. Everyone needs somebody. It just takes one person to make that phone call, or takes one person to reach out and say, hey, are you okay? Or deeper than that, because sometimes we'll just say, yeah, I'm okay. And then we try to brush it off to not make them involved in our problems, because obviously people don't take problems the same when you vent to them, right? But it just takes that one person to care and say, hey, are you doing okay? Like, I noticed this. And, obviously from there, they start listening and they start unfolding whatever is inside, the skeletons in the closet. And without judgment, right? They say, hey, you're going to be okay. Like, you're going to push through this. You're going to be okay.
Interesting. Funny thing you talk about it. You say judgment. I like judgment equals accountability. I can't judge. If you want me to hold you accountable, I have to judge your action based off of what we believe in, based off our relationship, Josh. So when they say judgment, I take that very personal. I'm like, well, do you want me to mentor you? Do you want us to hold each other accountable? Do you want iron sharpens iron? If you do, then judgment's going to happen because your choices not only affect you, but your choices affect everybody around you. Right? Let's just say you do something good, you save a life, because CLC 33, damn, if I've seen anybody, Marines, so many Marines save people's lives in CLC 33. A NAM here, a COM there, a NAM here. What was it? Since I was there, 4 total, 3 NAMs and a COM were given out to Marines. Otto, Gallagher, who else? Freaking, and 2 others that again, for saving Marines. They were doing the right things and everybody was rewarded because of it. Everybody around them, to include that individual, right? But if they did the wrong thing, who would have a direct effect on it? Themselves, the people around them, their significant others, their family, everybody. Same thing. So I have to judge, right? Judging is not bad.
It's
They
not.
take the, you know what I mean? Judging
I would
is, they take
say,
that word out of context.
yeah, I think when I mean judgment, I say, somebody that's going through a divorce, right? And obviously that person probably said, or heard, hey, that's not a good route to go to before they got married. You always got that Marine, that brand new corporal or that brand new sergeant getting married to, the wrong person and say, oh, damn, hey, don't do it. But then they end up doing it anyways. And now they're going through struggles of like, okay, now she wants alimony that she thinks she rates because, well, for whatever reason, they sat at home all day, but they didn't do anything. Now they want half your paycheck, right? And that's what I mean by judgment. Like, okay, now you listen to their story and you say, damn, but I told you not to do it. Like
There it is. I told you so. That's what
yeah,
that's what you talk.
exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I told you so. Now I told you not to get married to this person. You still did it. Now you're paying the consequences of it. I would say like, don't put him down whenever he's down already. I try to seek help, give him the resources that he needs instead of like, okay, yeah, you're a dumbass. I told you not to do that. And you follow through anyways. So that's what I mean by judgment. Like, don't put him down whenever he's down already.
You think some tough love is necessary though?
Time. There's not, it just, you have to tailor it to their personality. There's some
Good
people
response.
that take tough love and they say, yeah, you know what? Like, okay, I'm going to get up and do the right thing. And there's some people that shut down. So you got to know, you got to know your Marines. You got to know who you're talking to. Some people don't like tough love. Some people do like it.
What's that new leadership trait?
Empathy.
There it is. Good job.
Yeah.
Nice job.
Yeah.
Put you on the spot there. But
Yeah.
you're
Yeah.
right. Empathy. I don't think it needs to be labeled, but it's there. Yeah, it is what it is. We should all have it already ingrained in us. But adversity hit you hard. You were in a dark space. You had somebody in your corner pushing you through daily, and you became resilient because of it. So now, here, adversity. What's that saying? It's just right here. He introduces a man to himself, and or a woman to himself. Right. So you were introduced to adversity in San Diego. You were in a dark spot. You found out who you were, right? And then you found out who was in
Mm-hmm.
your corner. So that circle is important. I tell you what, Marines struggle with mental health. They struggle with suicide. They don't have people in their corner. We got to talk about it. We got to weave back in when they transition from the military, no matter what branch, they lose purpose. They lose the mission set. They lose the understanding of what it is to execute. I don't know why, right? Maybe it's because they're not with the boys anymore. Camaraderie is not there, right? Provide something for them. Give them a tool for their tool bag right now for those considering taking 30 step in the wrong direction, right? Or the ones that are struggling right now with mental health. Give them something tangible and maybe something intangible and relatable so that way it helps.
Well, I talk about this a lot when I make content. A lot of military service members, they take this whole military thing and make their military their persona. And I'd say that's only gonna get you so far. You need an outlet. You need a plan. Don't try to just get told what to do and just live that day by day. I would say find something outside of the military, like a plan B, right? I'm currently doing that with trying to pursue a bachelor's degree in criminal justice because I'm trying to become a law enforcement officer after I get out. So you try to do that outside the military and try to find a passion before you get out. Don't just, oh, I'm too lazy, I'm too tired, because then you're gonna pay the consequences of losing your purpose. Don't let your nameplate, both sides, just define who you are. That's number one, and then number two is when you transition, take it seriously. Transition meaning like you have a plan after you get out. Not just, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go through the motions, do check in the checkbox, TRS. Yeah, I'm done. Please sign my paper just so you can get out. Because a lot of people that I've talked to that they do one enlistment or two enlistments and they want to get out, they end up regretting it. They want to come back in. And it's the same, it's for wrong reasons too. Like they want to get out because they want to go back home and be with their family, or they want to go and pursue or follow this girl, right? It's for wrong reasons. They get out for wrong reasons. So I would say get out with the right mindset and for the right reason. Like you did your time and you got to pursue something bigger, not just sit at home and not do anything, because it's going to end up biting you in the ass.
And talk to, what's his name? Johnny. Johnny Vargas a couple months ago. I don't know if you know who that is, but he's a content creator as well. He's a comedian type content creator for the army, and he tells his soldiers, "You are boots on ground with the uniform. Now that you're in doing your job, start the exit plan because that exit out of the military is going to come sooner than you think. So it's
Yep.
just as much planning that went into coming into the military, that's how much planning you should take exiting the military, because the military should not define you,
It
should
should
not be
not.
who you are, right? I talked to a dude, Major Clarence Miller. He talks about the first thing I do when I wake up is take a piss. I take a piss standing up. Right? He's pretty frank about what he does, right? He's blunt about it, who he is. I take a piss standing up. I'm a man first, right? Shit, shower, shave, do all those things. I get ready. And then now he becomes a Marine, right? I know there's a motto 24/7. I get that. I do. I know what that means. I've been in almost 15 years. I'm pretty sure I know what that means, right? But then he says, I'm a Marine. And then I drive to work and I start thinking about what the day's going to bring me. I start thinking about my job. Right? I'm an infantry rifleman. And then I think about the billet that I hold, which is the operations officer. Then I have to do these things, right? So all these things are kind of 1, 2, 3, 4. But the first thing is you're a man. What got you here is being a man and a woman. Good choices got you here, right? That mentality got you here. So the planning that went in, the planning needs to go when you get out. So good advice, man. Community, have somebody in your corner. Passion before you get out, right? Find the passion before you get out. Obviously, you're doing that with your bachelor's degree, pursuing that in criminal justice. I will say to add, and this is a kind of yes or no question. You don't have to answer, but I was talking to Seamus, right? Seamus O'Connor. He said, suicide is being normalized. And I said, you're right. It should not, because everybody and their mother talks about it now. Ain't that crazy? It's in every movie. It's in every this and every that. We become desensitized to it. So now we think it's normal. Should we? Just head
Should
bob,
we
be like,
think?
should we think it's
No,
normal?
no.
That's a whole nother that's a whole nother conversation that blew my mind. I was like, man, I forgot about that trash. Because you can say that for a lot of things, right? But in terms of suicide, have we normalized it? Is it everywhere? Yes, I think so. I don't know if
I
it's
think
normalized, but it is everywhere. It is everywhere, right? And we talk about it a lot, especially with active duty service members and veterans alike. But something to think about. I know you're a busy man. I got the baby girl. Thank you for coming on. Thank you for sharing Original Fit Design. If they want to know more about Josh, where can they reach you at, man?
my phone number or what? No,
Hashtag
the
that.
just put an Instagram original_fit_design. And if you want to see more of my content, the same thing, battle_buddy_banter. That's it.
On Instagram, right?
Yep. On Instagram, I have Instagram, YouTube, TikTok as well, and that's it.
I'm telling you, the bandwidth is crazy. If you have the bandwidth to manage all those platforms, good on you. I had a lot of platforms and then I couldn't do it. So I started deleting stuff because I couldn't. I'm just a one-man show, man. I'm just here just to talk to people and get to know people, right? So good on you.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen, Instagram, original_fit_design, Battle Buddy Banter. Hit them up. Joshua Garciasoto and Gunny G. Ladies and gentlemen, Spit Talk, pulling pits and opinions with your host. Obviously, follow, like, subscribe everywhere you get your podcast and on most and some social media platforms. Let us know how we're doing. Any criticism is good criticism. Ladies and gentlemen, me and Josh, we out. Hey, shotguns, homie. Talk to you later, dog. Bye-bye.
Stand by, contact. Ceasefire. Stand by, contact. Ceasefire.
Pit Talk is a podcast featuring active service members who discuss their thoughts and opinions on various issues surrounding military life, current events, and history. The statements heard here are the opinions of its members and guests. These do not necessarily reflect the views of the Department of Defense and are not endorsed or sponsored in any way. Listener, viewer discretion advised.